Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I have yet another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2015, directed by Mark Neveldine, and this film is called The Vatican Tapes. So the story of The Vatican Tapes, you've got this young lady who's living with her boyfriend and her overprotective father. The situation in her life is a little bit unstable, but she seems to be getting on with her boyfriend. She's very happy. The father is a little bit overprotective, but it seems to be an okay situation that this girl is in. So one day she cuts her finger accidentally with a knife. She has to go to hospital to get some stitches, but her health rapidly deteriorates. She's having all these seizures. Her father and her boyfriend are becoming very worried, so they send her back to the hospital, and the doctors don't know what's wrong with her. So problems start to mount, and they believe that maybe it's psychological. So she goes to a mental hospital, but these strange occurrences that are following her are starting to intensify to the point where everyone around her is being put into grave danger. So they call in the Vatican because the Vatican wants to determine whether or not this illness this girl has can be treated with medication, or it's going to require something more drastic. So it actually turns out that the results of the Vatican's investigation are going to lead to a battle of good versus evil that is going to determine the fate of mankind itself. So what that determination is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Vatican Tapes. This was a bitterly disappointing film, and that is saying something because I had no expectations coming into it. Now the reason why I was so disappointed with The Vatican Tapes is that it looked so good. I thought the visuals were very, very well done. It was a very surreal film. It actually felt like you were in a nightmare. Very vivid colouring, so it had a fantasy type of feel to it. I thought there were scenes in the mental hospital that were very inventive. You know, the camera angles were very inventive, and the way it contributed with the element of the sound was very well done, and it shows you that this director, Mark Neveldine, is not a hack behind the camera. He actually has a keen eye for visuals, and I don't know what happened with the rest of the film, because the rest of the film just feels like it was a complete letdown, that the visuals were there holding the film up, but nothing was really there to support it, so it was dragging it down. And after a while you start to realise, okay, the visuals were good to start with, but because there is absolutely nothing else going for it, it was a very superficial film, you start to get very bored by it very quickly, and it does outstay its welcome. Now to start with, the movie doesn't give you any time to invest in your characters. The strange things happen straight away, so it does shock you because you're thinking to yourself, I'm not ready for this. I want to get a little bit more insight into these characters. I want to start to feel sorry for these characters, but the movie doesn't allow you to do that because it's very, very impatient in what it's doing. So when these bad things are happening, this girl, that she could be possessed or she might not be, you don't get any feeling of sympathy for her because she's just someone that you look at. You don't associate her with your next door neighbour. You don't associate her with a friend of yours or a family member, because there is no time that is taken to get you into these characters. So it actually felt like a movie that was relying solely on its horror aspect rather than its human aspect. And I thought that with a human aspect it would have been an okay film, because as I said, the visuals are very good, but the rest of it, it just felt like it forgot how to structure the film properly. So apart from the fact that it was very rushed to get into the scary moments, I thought the scary moments weren't scary because of the simple fact that everything is dictated to you. So what I mean by that is that when a scary thing is going to happen, it cues the scary music. So it eliminates all suspense, it eliminates all uncertainty, and you're bracing for the impact that you know exactly when it's going to happen. So with films that do this sort of thing a lot better, you don't know when the scare is going to come because it doesn't cue the music and you don't know what to expect. But when the scary stuff starts, the scary music starts to go in, you think to yourself, okay, well, she's going to do this or she's going to do that. The predictability is there. So because there is predictability, there is no uncertainty. Because there's no uncertainty, there are no scares. And because there are no scares, it becomes very, very tedious. I thought some of the script was very badly done. Some of the acting was overdone, especially by the priest towards the end. And I just thought that apart from cueing the music, there were some visuals that eliminated all the process of not knowing what was wrong with this girl. You know straight away what's wrong with this girl because they plaster it all over the screen. So, a lot of these movies, it's very good when you don't know, is she crazy or is she possessed? Was this certain scene because she is possessed or she's just very ill? But in this movie, it's saying, you must feel that she's feeling this because of that. And it's just making everything absolutely obvious. And because of that, it's a little bit of an insult to your intelligence as a viewer. So the end of the film gets very, very ridiculous. It is overdone with a lot of CGI. And I don't know what was happening there because I almost laughed at how this movie was finishing. And by the end of it, I thought, thank God that was over. It was like a dog that had hurt its leg so severely, and you just kind of just sitting there sad, looking at this thing that was in a lot of pain, and it needed to be put out of its misery. But unfortunately for this film, the pain was prolonged to the point where you just felt to yourself, this was an ordinary movie, which was disappointing. As I said, I had no expectations, but it was still disappointing because of the fact that it had very good visuals, but I felt that the visuals weren't complemented by anything else, and therefore it just crashes and burns the Vatican Tapes. If you're a fan of possession films and you want something new, Vatican Tapes is definitely not for you. It eliminates all scares, it's very generic, and it's just something you have seen done over and over and over. So overall, for the Vatican Tapes, going to give it 1 star. I didn't like this movie at all. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.